A powerful CEO makes a careless joke that changes everything. He invites the quiet maid from his mansion to a high society gala, never expecting she will actually come. But when she arrives with dignity, grace, and breathtaking beauty, the entire ballroom falls silent, along with him. What starts as public shock turns into private regret, and the line between pride and heartache grows thin. As she walks away from his world, he learns the truth about what she has been fighting for all along, and he must decide whether love can be earned when respect comes too late. Chapter 1. The Joke Invitation. I first saw her at sunrise, moving through the mansion like a whisper. She didn't slam doors or complain about the long hours. She just worked, steady, focused, almost invisible if you weren't paying attention. The man who owned that mansion was Evan Crown, the CEO of a multinational corporation that seemed to buy and sell entire cities with a signature. I had interviewed powerful people before, but he was different, sharp, impatient, and used to being obeyed before he finished speaking. She was Lena Hart, one of the maids. Quiet, polite, always with a book tucked into her bag when she thought no one noticed. That detail mattered, though no one in that house seemed curious enough to ask. A gala was coming up, one of those high society events where money talks louder than music. His executive assistant, Simone, reminded him of seating charts, sponsors, and cameras. Evan looked up from his phone and saw Lena carrying folded linens across the foyer. Something in his face shifted into casual amusement, the kind that powerful people sometimes wear when they forget other lives are real. "Hey," he called, not unkind, just careless. "You should come to the gala with me." Lena stopped. "Sir?" Simone's eyes widened like she wasn't sure whether to laugh or intervene. Evan smirked. "Consider it an invitation. You can see how the other half lives." It hung in the air like a coin toss. Then he added, light and dismissive, "Unless you're too busy." He turned away before she answered, already done with the moment. But I saw Lena's fingers tighten on the linens. Her voice, when it came, was calm. "Thank you for the invitation," she said. That was all. And somehow, I knew she meant it differently than he did. Chapter 2. Silence in the Ballroom. The night of the gala arrived with flashing cameras and luxury cars gliding to the curb like sharks in polished water. Inside, the ballroom glowed gold beneath crystal chandeliers. Every laugh sounded rehearsed. Evan stood among investors and socialites, wearing confidence like a second suit. He expected the night to go as planned. Speeches, photos, controlled charm. He did not expect the entrance. When Lena walked in, the room did something I have only seen once before in my career. It stopped. She wasn't wearing a costume of wealth. She wore a simple, elegant midnight blue gown that fit her perfectly. Her hair was styled with care, her posture straight, her face calm. Not nervous, not begging to belong. She looked as if she had always belonged to herself, and that was more stunning than diamonds. People stared. Conversations fell apart mid-sentence. Even Simone went still. Evan's expression changed in slow stages, confusion first, then disbelief, and finally a kind of sharp regret that cut through his polished mask. He had invited her like it was a joke, but now the joke belonged to him. He moved through the crowd toward her, his smile gone. "Lena," he said, quieter than I'd ever heard him. "You didn't think I would come," she finished, voice steady. "I'm sorry." The words seemed unfamiliar in his mouth. That invitation was careless. I was careless. She met his eyes, and I saw something there. Not anger that burned hot, but hurt that had cooled into certainty. "Enjoy your gala, sir," she said. "This is your world." Evan reached for her, then stopped himself, as if he understood touching her would only prove how little he'd learned. "Please, let me make this right." Lena's gaze moved past him to the staring crowd. "You already showed me what you think of me." She turned and walked away, not running, not trembling, just leaving him standing in the most expensive room in the city, looking smaller than anyone had ever dared to see him. Chapter 3. The Door She Closed. Evan tried to speak to her again that night. Once near the ballroom's edge. Once on the terrace with the city glowing behind them. Each time, his voice was softer, more human, but it was too late for quick fixes. "I was wrong," he said on the terrace, the wind tugging at his cuff. "I didn't see you." Lena's hands were folded in front of her, like she was holding herself together with discipline. "That's the problem. You didn't see me when it mattered. I see you now." She looked at him then, and her calm was more painful than shouting. "No, you see what you missed. That's different." A few days later, the mansion was quiet in a strange way. Staff moved around the absence like furniture that had been removed. In the staff area, Lena wrote her resignation with the same steady hand she used to polish glass. Evan found out too late. He intercepted her near the gates at dawn, when the driveway still wore mist. "You're leaving," he said, like a man stating a fact he couldn't accept. "Yes. Tell me what you want. A raise. A new position. Anything." Lena's eyes didn't harden. They stayed clear. "I want respect that isn't an afterthought." "I can give you that. You can learn it," she corrected. "But you can't give it as a gift." She lifted her suitcase handle. "Goodbye, Mr. Crown." And then she walked away from the mansion without looking back, leaving Evan surrounded by everything money could buy and none of what he suddenly needed. Chapter 4. The secret he couldn't hand her. For weeks, Evan wasn't himself. Meetings ended early. Contracts sat unsigned. Simone tried to steer him back into focus, but even she looked unsettled by the change. One evening, in the mansion library, the head butler, Mr. Aldridge, spoke carefully, as if he knew the truth could crack the room. "She worked 2 jobs, he said. "This one, and another on weekends. She's been paying for university. She refused help from anyone here." Evan's face tightened. "Why didn't she tell me?" Mr. Aldridge gave him a long, honest look. "Would you have listened before the gala?" That question landed like a verdict. Evan found Lena's university information through quiet channels. Not to invade her life, but to understand how close she was to losing it. Tuition deadlines, late fees, the kind of pressure that makes sleep feel like a luxury. He wanted to help, but he knew something else too. If he walked up and offered money, she would reject it the way she rejected his apology, because pride wasn't her weakness. It was her armor. So he did the only thing that didn't insult her dignity. He paid her tuition anonymously. No flowers. No note that asked for gratitude. No announcement. Just a payment, clean and complete, processed through a private office like it was the most important deal of his life. Then one night, he stood across the street from her apartment building with an envelope in his pocket. Something he considered giving her, something that explained everything. He didn't cross. He let her keep her space. He let her keep her pride. And he walked away, hoping that silent help could speak where he had failed. Chapter 5. Truth in a Quiet Place. Lena found out in the least dramatic way possible. A quick meeting at the financial aid office, a screen turned toward her, a calm voice saying, "Your balance is paid in full." She blinked. That's not possible. But it was. At first, she suspected a mistake. Then a scholarship. Then a mix-up with another student. But the records were clear. Someone had covered everything. A week later, she received a letter. No love language, no demand, just confirmation of the payment and a line that made her hands shake. "I did it this way because you shouldn't have to choose between your future and your pride." She knew who wrote that. Not because it was signed, but because regret has a voice. They met at a coffee shop on a rainy afternoon. No ballroom, no crowd, just warm light, quiet tables, and the sound of water tapping the window. Evan didn't stand when she walked in like a man trying to perform. He stood like a man trying to be decent. "I didn't pay it so you'd owe me," he said before she could speak. "I paid it because I was wrong, and because you're working harder than anyone I know." Lena held the letter, her fingers still. "You should have told me." "I wanted to," Evan admitted. "But I knew you'd say no. And I knew this wasn't about me feeling like a hero. You didn't ask for saving. You asked to be seen." Her eyes searched his face, like she was checking for the old arrogance. "So what do you want now?" Evan swallowed. "A chance to earn your respect. Not buy it." For a long moment, Lena said nothing. Then she took a slow breath, the kind that changes the air. "I'm not forgetting what happened," she said. "I'm not asking you to." She nodded once. "Then we start with honesty. It wasn't a full forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a door unlocked. And for Evan Crown, that was more than any boardroom victory he'd ever won. Chapter 6. A Love Built the Right Way. Their relationship didn't explode into perfection. It grew like something real. Evan showed up in quiet ways, sitting in a university library while she studied, never interrupting, learning what her classes meant to her, listening without trying to fix everything with money. Lena didn't soften into someone smaller to fit his life. She stayed herself, driven, clear-eyed, and brave enough to demand kindness as a baseline. Over time, the city's gossip turned into a different story. Not a CEO collecting a pretty date, but a man changing because a woman refused to be treated as less. One evening, in the mansion garden at dusk, string lights hanging above rose bushes, Evan stood in a tailored suit with a small ring box in his hand. His voice shook. I used to think power meant getting what I wanted, he said. Now I think it means becoming worthy of what I'm given. Will you marry me? Lena stared at him, stunned. Then her eyes filled, and she let out a breath that sounded like relief after a long storm. Yes, she said, but only if we stay equals. Evan's answer was immediate. Always. They married in a bright chapel with white flowers and sunlight pouring in like blessing. And when Lena walked into the mansion afterward, suitcase in hand, the foyer no longer felt like a place where she cleaned other people's lives. It felt like home, not because it was huge or beautiful, but because the man waiting beside her had finally learned the simplest truth. Love begins where respect is never optional. If you enjoyed this romantic CEO and Maid love story, subscribe to the channel for more emotional, easy-to-follow romance videos. Activate notifications so you don't miss the next story. Give this video a like if it moved you, comment what your favorite moment was, and share it with someone who loves heartfelt romance and unforgettable gala scenes.